What's up, everybody? Shit,
That was so fast.
it's like 30 seconds in. We haven't seen it. I have to every time I put it on, I gotta like share to all these places.
Oh, okay. And I just sit here.
I know.
Last time I was like elbow lotioning my elbows,
Oh
and
yeah, you were.
I wasn't even paying attention. I'm like in my mind thinking, I'm like, I can't have these ashy elbows on, and then all of a sudden I realized we're live.
Hmm.
So just so you know, not having ashy elbows really matters to me.
It matters to you.
It really matters to me. Not having ashy anything actually is a really big, yeah, just I feel like there's just no need for it. Not for anybody else. It's just my own personal thing for myself. Like I have lotion, I have every oil you can possibly imagine. If I'm ever ashy, it's really because I just chose otherwise.
I can give a shit about being ashy. I just don't want to be itchy. You know what I'm talking about?
And you know what? I know what you're talking about. It's been a long time because I highly
Because you
moisturize.
be because you be juiced up already.
Yes.
I
I
just don't
like,
like to be itchy.
yeah, no, I have like oil and it's like a part of my routine. So it's,
Damn all that.
I mean, I don't know. We're trying to like hang in there. I don't know if it's gonna work or if like using oil and body stuff is gonna like help me as I age. But
I guess
I'm
you'll
we'll
never
figure it.
find out.
I mean, you know what?
At the end, we all go to the same place.
I just want to like still be mobile and like at
Do
least
you
be able
think
to.
you think oil and lotion is gonna make sure that you're mobile?
I mean, no,
Huh?
but it's just a part. It's just one aspect of my aging beauty regime.
I think it just makes you feel better. If that makes you happier and less aggressive, I'll accept
I mean, it
it.
could possibly. I
You know
mean,
how you get. You like
um,
to fight because you're Puerto Rican.
I feel Puerto Rican in this hair. I feel Puerto Rican. I love that. I love that one.
Hmm. So what's going on? How's the week been? I just got back from California, literally like
Like
an hour
go.
ago.
Yeah.
Drove home from California. Did you know that there's a Sizzler in California by my
No.
mom's house? And I ate there yesterday. That day before yesterday, I mean.
Has it always been by your mom's?
I have no idea because I don't recall a Sizzler at all. Like I don't remember. Like I thought all the Sizzlers were dead. I think I seen one in LA one time, but
Do we have Sizzlers? Oh, we have
no,
Sizzlers,
we
don't
don't
we?
have no more Sizzlers here in not in town.
What's that one that we go to all the time? It's not all the time. Where is it that we went?
The Golden Corral.
No.
Oh,
Where is it that we went when we had those like mint drinks and all this stuff? Was that Sizzler?
that was Red Lobster.
Oh, there we go. I'm confusing the two. I was like, don't we have it? But it's not
Girl, that
Sizzler
was in
either.
Arizona.
Yes, but I knew that we had a Red Lobster over here, but I couldn't remember the name.
Oh,
So that
yeah.
was the closest thing I could say.
There's a Red Lobster here in
Okay, so no Sizzlers. Yeah.
town. No Sizzlers, crazy.
I never thought about that.
But I had to get out. I had to get out of the hood. I mean, I work from home. I'm a house dad. I'm not a very good one, but I try
You're my house. This is my house husband, everybody.
hard.
This is
I
my
try.
house
I'm not
husband.
good, but I try very hard. And I got tired of just being in here. This office, like I know that there's a bunch of different places to see. Like there's American flag here, so sometimes you'll see that shit. There's two TVs back there. Sometimes you'll see that, and then there's this. But all of it is the exact same place for me. It's the same four walls, and I've been sitting in these four walls for like 3 years.
Yeah, like a hermit.
3 years I've been sitting in here working, and yet the other day I was tired of it. Like just straight up, like I'd rather do anything else and be anywhere than stuck in this room. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand, right? Like people hit you with you're so fortunate, you got this, and you got all
You
this other
have your
shit.
own room. You're
Yeah,
so
exactly.
selfish.
Well, you know what? Holly Berry is beautiful, and Erin Benet got tired of her too. So I got tired of this space. You don't like that analogy?
No, I was trying to. No, I don't. No, I don't dislike it. I actually was trying to relate it. I was like, I was trying to like. I knew what you were saying. I was like, that's a. It, I knew exactly what you were saying. I was like,
Just saying.
this is
Look,
my husband's Halle Berry.
my favorite thing to eat in the whole world. It's fried chicken from John's Seafood
Oh,
in Beaumont, Texas.
so good.
It is my
So good.
favorite thing in all of the world. Salt and pepper whole wings from John's Seafood in Beaumont, Texas is my favorite thing to eat in all of the world. But if I had to eat that chicken every single day, I shoot myself. So I said that because I had to leave. So I called the wife,
Eric Benet got tired.
and if I didn't like chicken, I had to get rid of it. But I say that because I had to call the old ball and chain here and ask, can I leave? She obliged. So I called my mom halfway. I was like, hey, I'm coming. I'm about to pull up on you. She was like, come on. And I didn't do anything. No expectations, no nothing. I mean, I guess I maybe had one expectation, which was to write in my blog. So if you aren't subscribed to my blog, make sure you go there, MrBPos.com. Check it out. But I just that was the only expectation, and it was fantastic. I came back ready, ready to do something. I think I got something that I want to work on and provide. So we'll see how that goes. But tonight, I want to talk about discipline. It's been something that I've been thinking about
The old noggin.
for, or at least I know for at least 3 days straight. I posted something on my Facebook page like maybe 20 minutes ago. And it's like we have a lot of words for discipline because we don't want to tell ourselves that it's just discipline, it's just self control, right? Think about it. Hey, mom.
So wait, hold on. So you made an entire post when we were out there talking?
Yeah.
I had no, I had no idea. He was like, I made a post 20 minutes ago, and I'm like, wait, we're having a full fledged conversation. When did you post something?
Yeah.
Like,
It was, when I was outside in the garage.
I have no idea. But go ahead.
I, I talked to y'all about the post first. And then I posted.
Right.
I just said it out loud just to see first.
Gotcha.
You know.
Gotcha.
But I realized that discipline is the cornerstone of everything, right? We say consistency is key, but you can't be consistent if you aren't disciplined enough to do the work every day, right? Every tool that we look for is a tool to supersede discipline. We want motivation, and we want motivation all the time. Motivation doesn't get you anywhere, and when it dies out, the only thing that's left is discipline. And to go from motivation to motivation, you need discipline. But we keep telling ourselves that we don't. And I struggle with that. I struggle with that idea that at the end of the day, we don't need to be disciplined. Every single bit of philosophy, from the Bible to anything else that you read, all has some form of being held accountable, but not you being held accountable for someone else or to someone else, but you being held accountable for your own self. And I 100% believe that if you can manage being accountable for yourself, that your whole life will be better. What you think about that?
Oh, such a loaded question. Such a loaded question. Actually, I think it's really interesting. You like cup that drink.
I know. I forget. I know I'm grown, right? I know I'm grown, but I'm a child, okay? And
Don't disagree.
I wanted to see what I looked like on the screen when I held a cup like that, so I did it. I forgot that we was recording like for like 3 seconds. That was
he just executed it. He was like, you know what? Thought.
Yep.
What
do
does
it.
Like, let me just do it instantly.
And I'm gonna talk about that too because that is a lack of discipline too. But go ahead. What you think about it?
I actually think that's really an interesting point because a lot of times it's like if I was disciplined enough, then I would have my it's a Dr. Pepper is what that is.
Oh, No,
Yes.
mom, I'll
It's
end it in there
it's
but Diet Dr.
Diet
Pepper.
Dr. Pepper. I think it's interesting because if I was disciplined enough, I would have like a six pack already. I would have a six pack already. Because my thing is, it's like, well, what are you working for? Like, I work towards goals. Like, okay, well, if I was disciplined enough, my summertime fine would be all the time. My summertime fine would not start in like, March.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like working towards things like that. But I never really thought about it like that because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, what's your why? What's your why? And I'm like, well, my why is because I really want to be like healthy at 80, and we were just talking about, like I want to be able to, be mobile. But
Mm-hmm.
clearly, I'm not disciplined enough because, in truth, I've been terrible because I've been so busy at work. It's been crazy, and I actually feel like I'm like your girl over here needs to sleep.
Well, the problem with discipline is that you can't be disciplined in everything. And a part of being disciplined is knowing that you can't be disciplined in everything because we have dreams, right? And most of our dreams, all of our dreams needs discipline in order to obtain,
Mm.
right?
So I
And
was
so it
go ahead.
doesn't so the hard part about life and living and everything else, right, is that the world is your oyster, right? You have the ability to obtain anything that you want in life if you could just control yourself enough to work and get it. It literally is that simple.
Oh.
I know people don't like it to be that simple because we like to tell ourselves that it's everything else. It's the government, it's how I was raised, it's this color of my skin, it is the genitalia that I have between my legs, it is nobody loves me, I can't find support, I can't. We have a shit ton of excuses why we don't hold ourselves accountable to accomplish the things that we want.
Do you think those are excuses or some of those are factors? Or
I,
is it one and the
no,
same?
I think you're right.
Is it
I
one and the
think
same?
I think they're the same. I mean, I think both things can be true, and I think they are factors as long as you perceive them as just factors.
So,
But only you get to determine that, right? So the hard part is that when we discuss this with people, right, people like to give us advice, right? That advice is right, but that is it. But it's wrong as fuck, though, right? Sorry to cuss, but it's wrong
I
because it doesn't take into consideration me and my choices. You get what I'm saying?
yes.
No one can give you advice because the only thing that I can tell you as it concerns your life is what I would do if I was in your position.
So, hmm. So is it they can't give you advice, or you don't have to accept everybody's advice, or is it
It's,
just two-way street?
or maybe it's both. That's what I'm trying to
Mm.
say. So you can only you so the difference between, because everything has duality, but the difference between a factor and excuse is you and your choice as to what you want to call it. I don't get to determine it. My personality is going to tell me what I will call it. Who I am
Mm.
is going to tell me if that particular thing is an excuse,
I
right? So,
yeah.
because what's an excuse to you is a hurdle to somebody else, a factor to another person, so on and so forth. So,
So,
it's not up to other people to determine what it is, it's up to you. And like I was telling you when I was driving home, because I talked to her like all day, but what I was telling her when I was driving home is we have to start getting in tune to the trigger points and utilize those trigger points to dive deeper into our emotional state. For example, if I ask you a question and you say something to me that I in turn deem it to be being snapped at. You just snapped at me, right? If you can't correct it and say, I wasn't trying to snap at you, like it wasn't all of that, like
mhm.
if I can allow that to be accepted, then I need to put a pin in that shit because there's something going on from the emotional standpoint that I would raise up like that
Mm-hmm.
and not back down. Not that you're wrong or that I'm wrong for feeling it, because I think what happens in relationships is that we get into this right and wrong. And like I was telling you, right? We have been taught that the way that we can conflict resolute or resolve our issues in communication is that if I say something to my significant other, the only way that it could be dealt with is if she agrees with me.
Right.
And that can't be. Like, you should be allowed to say no, like, I don't agree with that, and I should be able to respect it without feeling threatened by it. And it's the threatened part that we have to start checking. We feel like, and we see it all the time, right? The comedians say that everybody is too woke, right? Or the cancel culture, that's what the comedians say, right? All of that, right? The cancel culture people say that you can't say this because their feelings get hurt. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you can go around here hurting people's feelings. I'm saying that it is a two-way street. And if you get your feelings hurt, then that person should be allowed to say, hey, I'm sorry, and for you to move on. And if you can't move on, then you need to figure out what is wrong with you, not them for not understanding where you came from, but you as to why is this triggering.
I think that kind of like applies to the whole discipline thing. I think discipline comes in the form of you have of understanding yourself. You know what I mean? You have to be committed. You have to be committed in
My mama's smart.
understanding.
Y'all better read the comments. My mama out there preaching right now. Go on, mama.
I think that being disciplined, it's interesting that you said that, we can be disciplined in certain areas and not in other areas. You know what I mean? Like, I think being disciplined even with yourself is almost like being committed to yourself and understanding that. And we were talking about, like, going back to what you were saying about like conflict resolution. I understood conflict resolution for the majority of our relationship. Like, if I've done something that upsets you, it was like my personal goal to make sure that there was understanding. Like, this is why I did it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't ever, like I said this before, I've said this in thousands of conversations, like behind the scenes. Like, I never really, I don't know. I don't know if I was necessarily trying to change my mind or if I just was like, understand this vantage point. And when we don't have like a solid understanding, it still to this day, even though I understand that simultaneously we can believe different things, it makes me sick still. It still makes me sick. The whole agree to disagree thing is like the death of me. And I know that it is important to be able to like have those boundaries, but I'm telling you, even now, when we agree to disagree, it's usually Gerald initiating an agree to disagree on something,
Oh,
and
I'll go
and
ahead.
I absolutely hate it. Like, I handle it 1,000 times better now. I've had to do a lot of work in that, but I'm telling you, I, agreeing to disagree is like, what did I say earlier? I felt like it's like a rejection. Like when I was trying to, which applies to the triggering thing, which
100%.
is something that was triggering for me. Being rejected is something that I've struggled with. It's still something that, like I said, all these things that we talk about, it's nothing that I'm like, oh, I've fully overcome all of this. I think this is something that's just been a continuous work in progress for myself personally. Like being rejected for some reason, and especially being rejected by you, is something that matters to me. The whole world could like hate me and I would care less. But for some irritating reason, you doing anything that I feel is a rejection to me of any kind of way, I get like, it makes me like, I get so upset about it.
You want to know the reason?
Why is it,
It's
Gerald?
because you love me. No, I know this sounds
No, no,
super
no, no. I
mushy,
know.
but I'm about to tell you
I
for
know.
real.
I know. I know.
That's gonna sound super mushy, but here's the reason why. You chose me.
It's,
So it is extremely difficult to not be chosen every now and again.
yeah.
I struggle with that too. We've had
Hmm.
countless conversations about how
Thank
I
you. I
feel I need
appreciate
to
that.
be chose and shit like that.
Right, I know.
I've been there. Like you're the only person that I
Right.
care. That you're the only person in the world that can derail. And I never thought of it like that. I thought that there was something wrong with me. Like I'm soft. Like how I'm this soft. And like that's to be honest, a lot of my I don't want to call it aggression because I wasn't aggressive, but a lot of my like sternness and not forth willing to give the love that you wanted in that way because it's like, bro, she can like destroy my entire life like in one fell swoop. Like just I'm so head over heels for this person. She could just come in here and be like, I hate your guts, and I'm gonna lose it. And I already been through it too. So I was going. We was not together for 9 whole months. And I felt exactly like that. And I was like, it's not, this isn't reasonable. Like this can't be healthy. And yeah, and you're the only person. Yeah. That's how committed relationships are. Oh. There's only one person, like, because we only can get one soulmate, one SOLE, one person. We can only get one soulmate in most aspects of our lives. I'm not saying that you can have only one soulmate in your entire life, but in most aspects, emotionally, you can probably only give yourself to one person at a time. It's the reason why you can't have several best friends at the same time because with being a best friend, there comes a requirement, a time requirement, an emotional like I don't know, like standing and reassure. Like there's work that comes into maturing relationships. So to believe that you can nurture more than one is difficult, not impossible, just difficult. And if you look at polyamory relationships, it's still it's still created around soulness because one person gets to be there at a time. All of them live together, but when it comes time for intimacy and things of that nature, a lot of them still go one to one to one. That's where the husband is married to multiple wives. They don't all just jump into bed together. Well, at least the religious ones don't,
right? I was gonna say, I was like,
I
somewhere, and I
forgot.
was
I was
like,
like, I think I might have seen some on Cinemax where they was bumping others the whole time, and their whole issue was exactly that: was that one of the partners would feel left out. So it's all like the soul part, like being able, this is like that's what discipline is,
I was gonna pull it back to that too,
right?
because I
Like
feel like it relates
discipline
too.
is choosing your soulmate, which is yourself, and that you will work day in and day out to do the very best you can for yourself. So you don't drink not because your mama told you not to drink. You don't drink because it limits the opportunities that you have to accomplish the shit that you actually want. We keep I had a conversation with a friend of mine. She don't like when I say the word submit.
Submit.
Yeah, I've been using submit a lot over the past couple of weeks. Mm. Right? She doesn't like the word submit because of how it makes her feel. None of it matters because the actions are the same. It's submitting to something, is still choosing a soulmate.
When we were listening to what we were listening to
Tim Ross.
Tim Ross. When we were listening to Tim Ross, I really loved his explanation of submit, and especially in like a relationship, because you can submit to anything. Let's apply it to self first, and then let's apply it to what he talked about in a relationship. So submitting, you don't have to be in a relationship to submit to anything. You can submit to self because what you're actually doing is submitting towards the goal of what that is. I'm submitting to my self decision to live healthy or to be better for myself. I'm submitting to my personal goal of just being an overall aware person, a self aware. And then you and I come together, and now you and I can submit both to each other, but submit to the goal of what we have. Our goal and my personal goal is to stay married to you. Your personal goal is to stay married to me. So, I mean, play if you want to. Well, play if you want to.
Here's the thing. That is the and I love it. But this is how I need people to understand things.
Now I'm curious where we're going because he was like,
That is my goal today.
oh,
But
gotcha.
my choice is that I can change it tomorrow if you don't hold up your end of the bargain. Because I'm not choosing you for the sake of choosing you. I'm choosing you because you're making the exact same choice for me.
Right.
So if you
Right.
don't hold up your end of the bargain, you can't stay. You get to be a caterpillar. We'll explain that story one day.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying, though?
I do know what you're saying.
And that's so.
Maybe we need to change. So maybe we need to.
Go ahead.
So maybe it's it's understanding. What's interesting that you in that explanation, it makes me think of how important words are to people.
Mm-hmm.
Words are extremely important to people, and understanding like discipline can come a discipline, commitment, all of these things. I'm dedicated. All of these things can all mean.
It means success because you can't even be successful. So one of the dopest quotes I heard it 2 days ago. I want to say, right? The quote was, "A strong wind to a strong wind on a boat with no direction is worthless." Or or a strong wind to a sail with no direction is worthless, which means
Because you're not going where you want to go.
if you don't know where you're going,
Okay.
then the push or the work doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that had well, I think your laugh just kind of killed my little explanation. So I don't know. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No,
Because you didn't get it at first.
I
So
didn't
now
know.
I'm like, oh,
I'm not. You know what? It was probably really, really good, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm not really good with things that are like. It felt very. What is it that I always tell you? Like I always try to tell you all these jokes, but no riddles. It felt slightly riddle like, and I'm not really good at sometimes connecting.
That's not a riddle.
No, it's not. But I was trying to connect it. It was like it felt like a wordplay. Like
it's like the Chinese proverb, Julie.
Oh, I messed it up. I'm sorry.
That's what Chinese proverbs are.
Like she who has no feet needs no shoes. That's is that like that type of thing?
Yeah, because wherever you go,
that's where you
there
are.
you are.
Oh, there you are. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
That's the best one, and probably the dopest of statements.
Courtesy of Tom Brady
What?
from the Brady Bunch. What's the Mr. Brady? What's his name?
Is that?
Yeah, it was from the movie, and then my dad stole it.
You just named him Tom.
It felt like it should be his name.
His name's probably Brian.
Probably. Well, Tom and Brian are really close.
Did they Wayne?
Wayne Brady? No, I think that's a black comedian.
Yeah, I know.
But I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So discipline if you don't know where you're going.
Yeah, but I think we've already lost that one. We can just.
We don't have to.
That's
revive
like a little
it.
side ramp.
We don't have to like.
We just gonna keep.
we can just
let that die. It was one of the jokes that Dion Cole would be like.
Mm-mm. Yeah, he crossed it off.
Cross it off and never bring it back. That one dies.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to kill it.
It's fine.
You were so serious about it, and I really wasn't.
But it's dope though. Somebody got it. You don't have to always get it for it to be dope.
I would agree. I would disagree on that, but you can choose otherwise.
Well, you said would, so therefore you're choosing to whatever. All right, so back to what we were talking about.
Yes, discipline.
People don't want to listen to us ramble. Jeez, get back on point on subject.
You're right.
What
Discipline.
Talking
about discipline.
Yeah.
How would you say discipline? Oh no, commitment. Understand that discipline and commitment, and like you can choose differently. Like you choose differently tomorrow. You prefaced that earlier, and it's very true. Submitting. There we go. I knew I was going to get it. Submitting to something. I was like, I need to talk a little more. It came back, but like submitting to something. You know what? It is a really touchy word though, like submission, because I think it's been used in such a potentially negative way, especially for women. Like this connotation of like, okay, you have to submit to your husband, and submission in that way. I think for a lot of women, it's like we think back to a space and time when us as women didn't really have like as much of a say, if any, to a degree.
The good old days.
Oh my gosh, I knew he was gonna go somewhere. I knew you were gonna go somewhere like that. So like for women, the concept of like submission sometimes, not everyone, of course, but I think it's like,
Back when men didn't have to be emotionally vulnerable or
uh,
accepting of their wives' emotions, you could just tell them to go make a sandwich and
I
just
was
shut
waiting
up
for the sandwich one.
like that. How could you not want days like that? But now you have to evolve and be more emotionally vulnerable creatures and connecting from more meta level and stuff. It's
Oh.
trash. It's trash when you think about it. And when we're done, I need you to make me a sandwich.
I mean, you haven't eaten today, so I can't even say anything because when you came in and as soon as I found out you hadn't eaten today, I'm not gonna lie, I was trying to feed you. I really wish that wasn't the case, but I really was.
Mm-hmm.
So no, but I can definitely understand, especially from a woman's perspective, the concept of submission because it's like, what do you mean? I hadn't even thought about it until we are listening to Tim Ross, and it's like understanding like I'm not just like submitting to you, where I'm like I'm gonna listen to everything that you say,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm never gonna have a thought of my own. It's just understanding that is what I'm about to do. Am I submitting to the goal that we personally have? And if I have a difference of opinion, then how do we get back to a space and time where we can still at least both work towards that same thing,
Mm-hmm.
which does require discipline.
It does, 100%.
Because my mouth,
What about your mouth?
my face sometimes gets the better of me. So it's
I thought you were talking about that mouth.
like what it do.
Oh, my mama on here. All right, so I'm gonna read a definition.
Okay.
Submit means to give over or yield to the power or authority of another. That is, I don't, I feel like, I don't know. What do you think about that definition? It's like straightforward, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna read it.
I got another one too.
Oh, okay.
You know how they all submit, right?
Okay, go ahead.
To subject to some kind of treatment or influence. To present for the approval, consideration, or decision of another or others. That all of these definitions actually mean the exact same thing, right? Because if I submit to you, right,
Take one.
that means that I have come up with an answer or a thing, and then I say, "Hey, here's my thing. Can we do that?"
Do that thing.
I have just brought myself and my idea under submission of my wife, right?
Right.
Even though I just submitted it to her for approval, right?
Oh, kind of like when you're like just checking in and like, hey, how do you feel about me leaving like in 20 minutes?
Or if I have a damn job and I want to go out of town this weekend and I submit my hours to them,
Oh.
they still have the authority to tell me no because I'm under submission. The only way out of that is to leave or break the rules on purpose, right? Because that's where
Like,
because that's where I think we're gonna because that's where our choices start,
right, like you feel sick on
right?
Monday.
That's the reason why you need submission and why the action word to submission is accountability, right? So that's how you stay out of trouble
Right.
in everything. I
That
don't
was a
just
very that was a very intellectual way of saying it.
what
You were describing it and I understood exactly what you're saying, but it was like a really
I'm just saying. Like it seems so simple to me, and that's probably why we jump on here at night just to see, because just so that we have recordings of it, and so that other people can chime in and be like, "That makes sense," or "That shit don't sound right at all." But to me, I'm like, all of it is the same thing. It's like submission becomes a terrible word once you start to believe it means something about you and it's not just a thing. And I think a lot of stuff that we have going on, it becomes a problem when we start believing that that is about me. Think about Black Lives Matter, right? So, like, we got Black Lives Matter, and essentially it is harmless. It's just a phrase. But because people take that phrase and internalize that to mean something about them,
their life.
then we have to have something else to go against it or to stand up right alongside it. You see this a lot. I'll give you an example. I've done this before, right? female friend. She's not necessarily a friend, but I know her. She was molested or raped by a person. Her process, whatever that may be, I don't know, but whatever her process is, let it out to be where she made a statement that said, all men are trash. And guess what I wrote? Not all of them.
What did that unleash?
Oh, they came from me. Her and a friend of hers. I did not get it whatsoever.
Did you know what the original post was
It
about?
doesn't matter.
Oh no, I was just more curious, so that because it'd be for to get attacked.
The thing, but the thing is that it doesn't matter because that's not what she was saying.
What was she saying?
She was saying Black Lives Matter, but for her, men are trash because they do shit like that. That's why.
Gotcha.
And they go unpunished. Because the thing is that if you're not a man like that, then you shouldn't say shit. Or you shouldn't have a defense because you should already know she's not talking about you. You jumping in to say not me is distracting from the original argument. We do this all the time. We do this in our marriages. Your wife comes to you and say, hey, you did this to me. And your first thing is, will you do it to me? I don't give a shit. That's not what we're talking about. And the crazy part is that you only understand that when you're the one arguing for your vantage point. What we need to start trying to do is provide that same grace, so to speak, to who we're interacting with, right? So when the Bible says that you should love your neighbor and that's the most important commandment of them all, I would tend to believe that that's what he means, is that you don't treat yourself like shit. So why would you treat them like shit? You, or maybe you do. And that's another thing that we can discuss, but we're not discussing it tonight. But you wouldn't want, is the real key. You wouldn't desire to be treated like shit. So why would you do that to someone else? And if we just walked around the world and lived life with that thought, then everybody in the world stands to gain. If the person next to you, isn't out, but we don't live in that type of world. So the next best thing is that you become extremely vigilant for yourself because your first soulmate needs to be you. Because you can't be a soulmate to your husband or your wife. You can't be the soulmate, i.e., role model for your children. You can't be the soulmate, i.e., employee at your job because that job is yours because you're the only one that gets paid for it. You can't be the soulmate for your business or your business partner unless you are the soulmate, i.e., you have discipline over yourself. Period. That goes from emotionally understanding who you are to finding out your triggers and also learning to do basic things like not responding based off of your feelings and emotions because, and I think we'll close it with this, because at the end of the day, we all fall subject to something, whether it's by choice or on accident. Man. And I can tell you straight up that I've done some of the stupidest shit in my life because I reacted, whether that is a ton of shit, Some stuff will lead you to divorce. Some stuff will lead you in jail. I, and all of it is because in I am not in control over me. Excess drinking, driving, all of that shit is all a side effect of you not having discipline, self control, motivation, whatever the hell you want to call it. You don't have, the Bible calls it subjugation, right? If you don't have subjugation of yourself, your body needs to be in subjugation. They all, the reason why church always get it messed up because they say because it's sin. You should be in control of your body so you don't make God mad. No, you should be in control of your body so you don't make you mad. Because you don't want to get to the end of this mug and have nothing but if I would have stuck to sports in high school, if I would have just not opened my mouth, if I would have not just whatever, I would have had this. That is all discipline. So don't be confused. You don't need discipline to please God. You need discipline to please yourself because you're the only person that can live this life. You. The discipline comes when you do what you're supposed to do. The success comes when you do what you're supposed to do. And that is all. And then I jump off of my high horse, come back to
And
earth.
then that was good. That was good.
I mean, it's all what it is. I'm just glad that we have I'm grateful that we have the opportunity to I can get it off my chest. And thanks for sitting here with me, listening to me rant and rave, and everybody else who tuned in, mostly my mama. Thanks, Mom. I love you.
Thank you.
This is the best show because she tuned in. I think it's the first one she ever seen.
Oh.
So this is dope. Thanks, Mom. It made my day.
Thanks, mother-in-law.
All right, everybody. Thanks. We'll see you next week. I'll do better if you're watching this through the week. I'll do better at at least letting y'all know. But for right now, we'll do Friday at 7 p.m. If we get enough people on here that's like, hey, like that time don't work, then we'll change it up. But if not, and no one's gonna show up here, and it's just me and Julia, we'll just keep cranking these joints out at the same time because we like it. All right, y'all. Y'all still got time to go, Mom. You got time for date night, so make sure you and Tone go do something fun. All right. He was having a tough outing because Miss Banks, because of his family situation. So go on and have fun tonight. I love y'all. Take care.
Bye.